Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how you can quickly ramp yourself up to basically 640 item level in a matter of hours, literally 2 hours or so for your ults. It's going to depend a lot on how much you've played on your main. If you haven't played any and you've just switched over to an ult, this isn't going to work very well for you. But if you played consistently throughout Season 1, and you're just looking at spicing things up, and you've at least done the Undermine quest, then this could be good for you. So the first place we'll start with any ult is the Nightfall scenarios. There's a lot of reasons why, lots of resources and great things to pick up, but the boss will drop a guaranteed piece of wall-bound gear for our armor type. The 3 incursion daily quests you pick up each day will do the same thing, and you can complete your weekly on each ult, giving you a token which you can use to pick up a champion specific piece. So immediately out the gate from just completing the 3 incursions, the boss and the weekly, that's 5 pieces of gear guaranteed to be 626 or higher. So it's a great place to start. If you have other ults that are the same armor type and you want to use them to do the daily incursions as well, this could also speed up your process. For this character, I just did it on that character, so I didn't do it on any additional ults. I highly suggest considering the weapon with your first champion token, unless you plan on crafting it later on with some of the other resources we'll use. So once we've done our Nightfall scenario, it should take around 20 minutes, we need to go to all the different faction vendors and start collecting our renown rewards. It doesn't matter too much how many you've got, as long as you've got some. The big thing here is going to be the carved crests. These will be seasonal bound, and the valor stones. So you're going to pick up a lot of useful resources here. Valor stones, carved crests, weathered crests, and also the bountiful keys from some of these quartermasters. Now you need to visit each region's quartermaster. So that will be the Hollowfall, Ashkahet, Isle of Dawn, where there will be 2 of them if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and you want to pick up all the resources from them. You don't have to pick up resonance crystals, and you don't have to pick up the enchanted harbinger crests, which are from last season, but you need the valor stones and you need the crests, as those are going to be valuable resources that we need to craft our gear. And from all these vendors you can very easily pick up around 700-800 valor stones, which is big, and you can pick up around 200 crests of each, 300 almost, which is big as well. Another place to grab some important valor stones is going to be Vascon, who's by the upgrade vendor. Not only does it teach you how to upgrade gear if you're a bit rusty, but he drops a lot of valor stones as well, so do his little introduction quest. Next, we need some Sparks of Fortune. Speak to Custodian Crushbow, who's by the Catalyst you can see here in Dornagal. He'll give you a quest, a Sparkling Fortune, which will double up your first Fractured Spark of Fortune. But on your ult, if you go and do a whole bunch of pinnacle chests, so things like Theater Troop, Radiant Cache, Nightfall Scenario, weekly quests, doing your World Soul quest for the week, doing your collecting 100 Titan plates quest, all those different quests, the weekly quests, the faction quests, the Theater Troops, all of those will be dropping you Fractured Sparks. So while you've been doing Nightfall Scenario, while you've been kind of flying around, going to all the quartermasters, you should have been doing those, and it'll help you pick up Fractured Sparks. Next, we need to visit Undermine. A couple reasons why. The first is we want to do the surge pricing events if it's within reach, like if it's currently up. You don't have to, but it's great, again, for some Fractured Sparks, valor stones, all the usual stuff, the usual suspects, crests and valor stones. But while we're there, we're also going to snag the world boss. He may not drop something for us. He does drop gear. He's guaranteed to drop gear. May not be for our class, but hopefully it is. If you want to, you can obviously use some of the gear you've got from him, hopefully throughout the rest of, or the earlier part of the season, and you can give it to this character as well, which is why I'm also highlighting it. For this character specifically, I did get one piece of gear from the world boss, which was quite lucky. And then finally, before we craft our gear, we're going to collect Circe's Circlet. This is the piece of gear from the Siren Isles. It's a ring that is 642. It's not great until you upgrade it and give it some crystals, and it's not really usable for all classes, but just for the stamina alone and just the raw health boost, we're going to go pick it up. It's going to just help us fill a slot while we work our way towards the magic 640 number. If you've done Siren Isles before, you can just skip it like I did, but if you haven't, you will have to do the introductory quest line. But it doesn't take you long to get the Circe's Circlet. It'll take you 20 minutes, give or take. And like I said, you don't have to upgrade it right now. It's there to fill in a slot for us. The next and final step before we start filling out our gear is we have to collect our free Enchanted Ruined Harbinger crest from the story mode raid in Undermine. If you finish the Undermine campaign, you will get a special quest called Liberation of Undermine. This quest can be done on all alternative characters, or all of your characters on your account, and it will net you some Valor Stones, but also a special crafting item that when you use it with a Spark of Fortune will give you a 658 piece of gear, which I'm sure, as you can tell, is pretty crucial towards us getting to that lovely 640 mark. So this will take you around 10 minutes. You can skip the campaign if you've done it before, like I did. If you've not done a campaign, then this is not going to be easily accessible to you on your alts. So my first suggestion is go and finish that campaign on your main or whichever character is the highest gear. You will then speak to Pax, click proceed, and enter the dungeon, finish it, and you'll get the free crest. So we should have a fair chunk of Valor Stones. You can see I had 700, I've now got 800. Weathered crests, carved crests, I've got tons of those. So I am ready now to fill out my gear. Now from the Nightfall scenario, the world boss, and like I said, picking up a couple pieces out of the various little chests that we picked up, the pinnacle chests, the theater troop, etc. You should be at around about 600 or approaching that 600 mark. Now there's two crests to focus on. We have an enchanted weathered ruined crest. This is the crest we're going to use for our 658, but we need to buy enchanted weathered carved crests for getting 629 gear to fill out our slots that don't have any. Now depending on how lucky you get, or if you've used ults to farm pieces from Nightfall scenario, you can skip the step of picking up the weathered carved crests. I'm picking them up because I'm showing you how you can fill out certain gear slots by using certain pieces of items and just saving yourself a little bit of time by using those crests. The most important one here though is that you use your Enchanted Rune crest as valuably as possible. So you can see I'm exchanging some of my carved crests. That's more than okay. You will need to have one Spark of Fortune minimum to use your Enchanted Ruined crest, but you ideally want two if you're going to look to make a two-handed weapon, which some classes may want to do. Next, select your pieces. Like I said, look, scan your gear. If you're using the Enchanted Ruined crest that you got from the story mode, you need to select the gear that goes up to a max of 675. This will require you to use a spark, and you'll need a spark and the crest to create your 658 piece of gear. It won't be 675 because that's a gilded crest, but it'll be 658 if you have a player crafted very well for you, and that's good. The 629 gear is the blue gear, so you'll see there's a blue gear option, 629, and this one does not require a spark. So you'll see like the Everforged gear belt, for example, great belt, sorry, requires a spark. This immediately makes it like 632, but we don't want to just use sparks to make these pieces of gear. We need those later on. So what we're going to do is basically we are going to use our weathered carved crests to rather make 6 to 9 gear, you'll see they don't pop up for Everforged gear. Like you'll see it hasn't been popping up while I've been chatting, and that's because you can only use it on 6 to 9 gear. So if we click the 6 to 9 piece or the PvP piece, we can then look at using the crest. So here you go, and we can select the crest. It's very straightforward. This is a great way to fill out slots if you've been very unlucky, and they're very cheap because the resources they need are very limited as well. So because of the renowned vendors, you have quite a few carved crests. I wouldn't say you want to craft like 5 or 6 pieces because you still may want to upgrade some and use some crests later, but it's great to craft. Like in this scenario, I crafted 2 pieces and my enchanted rune piece, and I could easily have crafted 3 or 4. So it's a great way to fill out, especially when you are doing certain slots. The only one you'll struggle with are trinkets, but usually you don't have a problem with those. So what you do is you craft those pieces of gear. You'll see I'm doing that now. I went and bought the materials off the auction house, which you'll have to do. Buy the materials off the auction house, come set up your public order. If you've got a guild or you've got a friend, do it that way rather, to try and guarantee the quality. But yeah, once you've done that, you are then ready to go. Collect your gear from the mailbox, and boom, you are ready to equip. And with that, just with your Nightfall gear alone and everything, you should be around 630. So immediately we are at, well, I'm at 635, 634. So we're already at the point where we can consider entering endgame content. But if you don't feel like entering it just yet, then we can still really look at doing some solo stuff. So the first place you should start is doing some delves. You should do 3 bounty delves. Do them at tier 7 and above. You don't have to do tier 8 and above if you don't want to, but it's very recommended to do tier 8 and above. If you get a Delver's Bounty, use it straight away. Don't panic, you got plenty of time to catch up still. Use it straight away and make sure you're doing a tier 8 or above, and you will guarantee yourself a heroic piece. So you'll already be now, after these 3 delves, with 2 more champion pieces, which you'll see in my bag, and a hero piece. So already we are now pushing into the high 630s, and this has taken me about 3 hours or so. I did the Nightfall and everything with a friend and the delve with a friend, but it took me around 3 hours to get from 588 to 635. But we can still push it a little bit more. So what you're going to want to do is consider upgrading gear. This is why I said don't use all your crests. What I would consider is champion gear mainly, but you can use up your weathered crests on the lower tier gear as well. Like if you can sneak a couple extra levels out of veteran gear, you can use weathered crests on that, but don't use your carved crests on weathered gear on veteran gear, and on your champion gear don't bother using ruined crests. Just upgrade your champion gear until it stops using carved crests. Now before we talk about what you can do, let's talk about finishing off Cersei's Circlet. Now you don't have to finish off Cersei's Circlet unless it is BIS for your class. A lot of tanks, it is still a pretty good ring because of the stamina. So some tanks are considering still using it. I know 2 of them do. But Google if it's for your class. If it is, then go and complete that. Just head back to the Siren Isles. It works like Fractured Sparks. Go and do a whole bunch of content there, and you'll get it to max level very quickly. But now you're ready. If you do upgrade the ring, you should be seeing about 639, 638. My character is currently at 637. And you're ready to do pretty much any content. You can start with Mythic Pluses, 2s, 3s, 1s, etc. And then you can do Delve Tier 11s very easy with the 635 kind of character. And you can start onto like normal level raids. So you're pretty much ready to start that good entry level for all kind of in-game PvE content, except for delves where you'll be able to do almost the highest tier, or if not the highest tier, depending on your class. The last thing to consider is set pieces. You should have quite a few catalyst charges now by this time into the season. So if you want to set convert, you can, but please only on champion gear and preferably heroic gear if you do get it. But yeah, that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.